Well, good morning. Welcome to our May GVL Hug event. My name is Miranda, and I'm joined with Emilio, and we are both from Boundify here in Greenville, South Carolina. We're a demand generation agency, and we are very glad to have you all joining us on this very dark and rainy Thursday morning.
I know, came out of nowhere.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking through a brief walkthrough and guide to the Clearbit integration with HubSpot.
Okay.
And as always, if you have any questions as we're going through the presentation, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll keep an eye out for them and try to answer them as we go along. So let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to talk about what Clearbit is and why the integration with HubSpot. Some of the features of the Clearbit integration that you can see, the importance of de-anonymizing your traffic, the shared data and integration with HubSpot features, and then walk through a couple use cases for actually utilizing Clearbit. So, starting out, what is Clearbit? Clearbit is a data intelligence platform that helps businesses gain deeper insights into their leads and contacts. So it offers a wide range of tools to enrich contact profiles, segment your audiences, customize your marketing campaigns, and automate sales and marketing tasks.
Yeah.
And why the integration with HubSpot. Clearbit has world-class data and aligns with HubSpot's commitment to helping their clients grow more effectively. So with Clearbit, you have 100 plus firmographic, demographic, and technographic attributes for each company that has a website. So this kind of like opens the door to the data that you can see and have access to from your website traffic as opposed to just HubSpot alone.
Yeah.
And Clearbit data, Clearbit also has data on more than 20 million companies and 500 million decision makers that come from a diverse array of sources. More than 250 public and private data sources, including social media profiles, company websites, legal records, and online collaboration. So again, it just kind of like opens up the floodgates of the information that you can get on your website traffic.
It really does. I wanted to add here. Tia already commented that she's using HubSpot for her company. Silvana, welcome. And also, I'm assuming, or I'm gonna assume that both of you are using HubSpot for a company that is B2B oriented. And I think Miranda, that's part of the reason we wanted to have this conversation about Clearbit, because first, because it got recently acquired by HubSpot, and I strongly believe that the reason is because well, I don't have necessarily the data right away. A lot of HubSpot users are B2B companies. They use it for that purpose, and for that specific use case, we B2B marketers struggle with the same problem all the time, which is we have this nice CRM, which is HubSpot, but it's either empty or we have purchase information to upload our ideal client profile, but that information is stale. We don't necessarily have access to something to update it. There are tools out there, including Clearbit, that can do the job. They're typically expensive, but most importantly, you want a great combination of not just information about the companies and information about the prospects. You want some information about their behavior, the things that they're doing, especially what they're doing on your website. So I think that's the main key here, is that the why this is important is because if you're a B2B company or a B2B brand and you have a struggle in the past with leveraging HubSpot for information that is already out there about your buyers, this integration probably will help you enormously on that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so then we'll go ahead and walk through some of the features that you can find on the Clearbit integration with HubSpot. One of those is data enrichment. So Clearbit can attach 100 plus data points to every new record that you add and to every record that already exists in your HubSpot database. And then you can map custom fields for maximum flexibility and get real-time updates that ensure that your data stays fresh, like Emilio mentioned. Another feature is lead scoring and routing. This can be a big help for your sales team. You can enrich your new and existing company records with contact records that ensure your HubSpot lead management workflows will have exactly what they need and instantly identify the leads that come in that are the most valuable for your sales teams to go after. Another one is form shortening. The form shortening through Clearbit can improve your form conversion by up to 50%. By using Clearbit to shorten or autofill your HubSpot forms. With having your website traffic only provide an email address, you can instantly assign 100 plus data points, like their job title, their industry, location, company size, etc., to all of your form entries.
Yeah. And I probably going ahead here on the use case, but I'm a big believer on you want features that either increase efficiency or increase effectiveness, which are not exactly the same, right? So the way that all of you can read these features is that enrichment increase efficiency because typically if we can get a hold of the user's email address or the company's domain, the rest of the information can be brought up from tools like Clearbit. That way we don't have to invest time either inputting that information manually or asking that information from the user and increasing friction on forms. So that for me is a clear benefit there. And the lead scoring and routing area is more about a little bit of efficiency, yes, because you can decide if someone is from certain location or for certain size, you will assign it to certain person, and that way you don't spend time of a human sifting through segmentation. But lead scoring is more about if I'm a SDR, a sales rep, or a marketing person trying to understand from a big list of potential leads or opportunities, where should I invest my time? That's a question that is important because you have just so many hours. And so being able to score somehow the company, not just on their firmographics, as you were saying, Miranda, but in their behavior, really increases efficiency, right? You will do the same job, the same work, but it will impact in a different way your companies. And finally, we always want to translate those benefits in terms of efficiency and effectiveness to the client, right? To the customer, not just to us. So form shortening is if I already have that information from you, then there's no need to ask the customer and make their life easier through the process.
Yeah, and it removes those. We want all those pieces of information from everyone who would be filling out forms on our websites, but it removes the barrier of entry of someone pulling up a form and seeing 6+ form fields that they need to fill in. So.
I forgot where I hear or saw this statistic, but I remember that every extra form field that you add to a form reduce conversion rates by something like 5-7%. So, it matters if you have a ton of volume, right? If you have something that is really important, people will fill up the form anyway. But if you're struggling with volume, having the least amount of fields required is relevant.
Another of the Clearbit features is campaign personalization. So this allows you to deliver the right message to the right audience. You can use 100 plus data points to segment and personalize everything that you're building in HubSpot, whether that's your emails, your landing pages, which allow for more opens to the pieces of content that you're sending out, more clicks, and more conversions. It also provides sales alerts. So similar to the lead scoring and routing, with Clearbit, you can automatically notify your sales rep the moment that a qualified account shows up, as soon as someone who is high on that your lead scoring visits your website. And with just the IP address, Clearbit can create matches against its database of 48 million plus companies, with no form completion required.
Yeah.
And then it also provides customizable views and dashboards, so you can really tailor the views and dashboards of the things that are the most important for you to see right when you log in, so you can display the most relevant information for the different roles and teams within your company that are utilizing the information and data that Clearbit is bringing in.
Yeah. And here, similarly, we have had conversations about this around in the past, right? When you are building campaigns, especially on email, applies to some extent on social, but especially on email. The biggest thing that you can do is just to start using the channel, right? So rather than not sending anything, if you have a newsletter that reaches everyone that you have on the database that have opt-in, that's great. The next best thing that you can do is to break it down by some criteria, right? Life cycle stage, industry, if they have engaged with some type of content. And so that data you can use to personalize not just emails, but as you said, landing pages, chat conversations. And so the more that you can customize that, the higher the success that you will have. And I love the idea around the sales alert. It doesn't apply to everyone, but if you have a sales team that have already went through all the forms that have been filled, and this is still, they still have time in their hands to do more. Not always happens, but sometimes happens. Then the next best place will be who is visiting our landing pages, our high intent landing pages, not filling forms, but clearly showing some intent. They will not be as good as the form fillers and the demo requesters, but they are the next best thing. So that's the other area where there's opportunity, right? If you are looking for more companies to reach out, that strong signal of them visiting your site, it's something that you can use to your advantage. Good.
All right, so then we'll just walk through a couple more of the features a little more in depth with some screenshots of the actual interface. So with Clearbit, you can build an ever-fresh database of companies and contacts. Like we mentioned earlier, you'll have access to 100 plus data points to score, filter, and automatically route your best leads straight to sales and the right sales reps. And your leads can also flow directly to SDRs for further qualifications or immediately into your marketing nurture campaigns. And then you can enrich your data with the way you want with their custom field mapping feature. So leverage it by leveraging Clearbit's intuitive field mapping interface. You can quickly and easily assign the new data points to both standard and custom fields in HubSpot, which gives you full control of your customization. And then lastly, identify and target the highest value records in your database for your sales team. You can use Clearbit to combine your HubSpot data, your website intent data, and Clearbit's enrichment data to create high value audiences. And then you can attach the audience inclusion traits to every HubSpot record that's in one of the audiences that you create.
Yeah. And I want to summarize there that hopefully for both of you, Tia and Silvana, and for those of you that will watch this later, that you can tell the story of how do you leverage this information. The first hurdle is, if I know what type of companies I want to target and the industry and the potential buyers, how do I get that information and set it up in the CRM in a successful way? That's the first thing that you can do through Clearbit integration, because I already have the information. You just create the segmentation, get the list of contacts, or in this case of companies, and you sync or upload that list into HubSpot. At least you have a working setup of contacts and companies that you agree with sales and marketing to go to market together using their different channels. The next best thing is that usually those lists, when you build them from outside tools, sometimes the only data that you have about them is that email or that domain. And having more will allow you to cater more in a better way the information and reach out to people. So that's the enrichment part. But finally, what matters at the end of the day is your efforts are bringing in some engagement, some interaction. You want to be in the know what's going on with that company over time, and that's the identify, the highest value or the highest intent. That's where you bring that last piece on. Yes, I'm doing what I need to do now. How can I see what's changing? Right. And I think we have covered some of these ideas before, but going back to why it's important to de-anonymize your traffic, is something that truly for B2C doesn't apply very well, because obviously, one, we have issues with privacy, and here you still have privacy implemented across the way, right? So there's no disclosure of a specific person visiting the website unless they have opt-in for communications on HubSpot. That continues to be the case. But the thing that is really reliable is if at least someone from the company is visiting the website. And because of the nature of our businesses, typically that person from that company will belong to your ICP, right? It will belong to your buyer persona if you are doing the right things in your marketing channels, right? So the chances that if your buyer persona is the CTO or the CIO of the company or someone related to IT is visiting the website from that company are high, then you can focus your outreach efforts on something like LinkedIn or even emails if you have that information and they have opt-in for communications, to reach out. That is the biggest impact that you have there. And the fact that this de-anonymization happens not just with firmographics, but behavior, and that you have the ability to assign priorities, right? I have companies that are in my database. I have companies that are part of my target audience, or that simply are engaging with a ton of content from my company. Those are great signals to prioritize engagement, right? So that's pretty much the reason why you want to do that, right? To be able to prioritize traffic. Here is a little bit of the information that is shared across the systems. This is mostly done on Clearbit rather than on HubSpot. So you have to, and I think we haven't covered that before, but this tool, the basic version is totally free, right? So you don't have to pay to get access to a set of basic tools. What you typically pay, if I'm correct, is for the enrichment part, right? Once you have the integration, you get access to the anonymization, you get access to understanding what companies and what contacts are visiting your company. But if you want to enrich your data, then you have to pay, if I understand correctly, through credits. So you pay per contact or you pay per company being enriched. And you can explore those pricings in the Clearbit page, of course. But I just wanted to highlight that you can start exploring this right now. You just go to Clearbit, create your account, connect it to HubSpot, and you're ready to go. And this is some of the data that you can synchronize between the two systems, right? Context companies, attributes for deals, and forms. So those are some of the things that you can do here. And again, reiterating, you want to identify your ideal client profile. So that's company level. And you will also want to identify your buyers, and all that information will be available for sales. So I think with that, we are done today. Um, Miranda added some valuable resources for you to explore in more detail, especially how the form churning work. But if you bear with me a few minutes, I can do a quick demo so you can get an idea of how it looks like. Let me stop sharing here and add. And in the meantime, I don't know if Tia or Silvana have any questions about this tool. No, very good. Let me share my screen now to this, and let me know if you see the screen here.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So this is our implementation, right? We have connected our HubSpot portal as well. And this, very quickly, these are some of the features, right? This is the place target markets where you can, create lists of companies that you are interested on, right? And you can see you have a ton of criteria here. I like, for example, the tag part, because it goes beyond technology, for example, which is another firmographic that is important for some companies, right? I want them to be using a certain type of feature, but sometimes the companies describe themselves in some particular way that is not captured very well at industry level, for example. I can be in the telecommunication industry, but what if I'm interested in IoT? So those things, those specific like tags or themes, you can use here. Let me show you Internet of Things. So this will give you a very a more specific set of companies than if you just go for technologies or for things like that. This is the visitors part, right? And so you can see here what companies are visiting, and if is I don't have an example of. Let me explore the timeline here. Like this little indications, like this company in particular has increased their traffic 900%, or this one is in our target market. So those signals are interesting for you to explore. And this is the part where if you have a company that you are interested on, you can learn a little more about them, right? Whatever information Clearbit has. And you can even see what pages they're visiting and what channel they use to do that. This is really important, for example, for channels that struggle to show impact in terms of lead generated, right? So typically your Google Ads, your organic search will have clear indications because you will have the form and attribution will come from there. But if you're doing more brand awareness efforts like social media, podcasting, and YouTube and things like that, if you have links there, the references can be shown on these channels even if a person do not convert, because typically this is what they will do, right? They will explore a little bit about your company, right? About your team and about your case studies and things like that, and then they will just drop. And if you are trying to reach out, that's the way that you can explore more about that, right? Prospector will be the tool available that will be of interest mostly for salespeople. And so it's very similar to target markets, but this focus on people rather than companies, right? And it works exactly the same way, right? You can create lists, and then you will have information about all those buyer personas and the respective companies. And if they are not in HubSpot, you can add them. I think you can add them on the paid version, right? So you can add them to HubSpot so you have the information. But if you want to restart or reach out, you can reach out through LinkedIn or email if you pay for access to that information, right? So a great way for the sales team to start working around on that. And the part that is really interesting is when you combine that information from the visitors of your website with the information that you have about those companies, right? So that's very powerful. Right? So you can see here the activity, right? And so obviously this is us, right? Visiting our own page a ton or our own website. And you have all that history and the people that you have on the database, the team members are here. And you can go and visit HubSpot and explore more about them, right? And you can create a specific um, segmentation on your visitors, like saying, when I want to see what enterprise users are visiting our website, I want to see visitors that are exploring our case studies, for example, which will be someone closer to decisions, right? Even if you don't have them as form fillers just yet. This is very powerful, and a version of this is available for people, right? So it's the same. If you have them on your database, you will get information about them. And there's more integrations that you can set up, not just with HubSpot. You can do them with other CRMs. And I highly recommend that you explore the HubSpot form section, where you can set up that form shortening feature so your customers can fill those forms faster. And so, yeah, that's a little peek into it. And that will be all for today. Silvana has a question. Will the third-party cookie affect the traffic? I'm sure that it will just make it harder, Silvana, for sure, right? Because and I'm not necessarily the expert here, but I understand from my experience in advertising that most companies that get intelligence data used to rely not just on first party access but also third party data. So I'm sure that part is being deprecated, and therefore we're losing more and more information from third-party data. But this is technically first-party data because it belongs to you. And again, as long as you have opt-in from the user on cookies and communication, that's still permitted. That you are still able to see behavioral data for your users when they're in your website. The only thing that you cannot do anymore is to rely on information of third-party providers to inform what you do internally here, right? So, and again, the other thing is that this is all related to B2B, right? So all that information that you get is firmographic in nature. It's job titles, seniority, function, things that we share publicly in many places, not just on LinkedIn as our curriculum, but even on emails. We put all that data there. What you will not get will be more personal information, right? Which is protected in a different way, of course, and we want to continue to do that. So again, this use case is mostly for B2B. Yeah. All righty. Well, it's been wonderful, and thank you, Miranda, for the preparation for this presentation. We will share with you all the presentation, the video, and yeah, what will be our next? I'm sorry, I stopped sharing, but what will be our next event?
Our next event is July 11th, and it's going to be talking through HubSpot's new Content Hub and the uses of Content Hub for marketers.
Nice. Yes, that's going to be an interesting one, everyone. We will be talking about this new hub, which is an evolution of the CMS and some of the features that I think make sense for how we create content nowadays, rather than just relying on the blog. So stay tuned, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.